So your retail store, you carry a few different brands.
Yeah,
Independent companies, streetwear.
Right.
And where is your store located?
And so we're right in downtown, which is like the historical part of downtown, Pacific Avenue. It's like the main drag. We're on what is considered the quieter end. The other end has the University of Washington Tacoma, so the Tacoma campus. So there's like a lot of bustling traffic there, and there's actually School of the Arts, which is a high school for very artistic, gifted children, and so we're kind of tucked away. We're by food and that sort of thing. So people normally see us when they're walking by and that sort of thing. But we're on, because we are on the main drag. Yeah. We throw so many events that we're noticed, and it's just like a slow.
So one of the marketing tools you use is to have events.
Yes.
And so what type of events do you have?
So Tacoma is heavily into arts. There's like fine art there. Dale Chihuly is a very world famous glass blower that's from Tacoma, Washington. He also has he's the reason why there's a museum of glass there, and he's built a glass bridge in Tacoma. And so arts and but it's more crafty, knick-knacky things that people put together and build together sort of thing. And so
you'll host events around art.
That's pretty much what we host events around, is just that culture. There are young students that we bring in. There are adult artists that often to put stuff in there. We brought a photographer from Los Angeles to Washington for a photo gallery. We do a citywide Instagram contest for photos called Shoot the Tea that we started 2 years ago. And then outside of that, we do a lot of things, a bunch with music. We released a compilation mixtape of the best rappers from Tacoma last week, and we do an open mic every final Friday.
Okay.
We've done
you're
movie
really
premieres.
You're bringing your audience to you.
We have to.
You're bringing your audience to you.
Yeah, we have anything we can do to get them in the store and it not have to do with buying. So that's the main thing.
Yes.
I want to distract them from that so that they distract themselves with clothing.
Right.
Exactly. And it works. I'm beckoning you to talk about art or whatever, and you're like, well, how much is this hat?
Right.
You guys still hats here?
That t-shirt is cool.
Yeah.
I need one of those.
They normally pull me away from the conversation about whatever to talk about the clothing, and
because the brands that you choose pretty much speak for themselves.
100%. And those brands have cult followings already. So that's the thing. There's nothing that I can really sell, I can really sell them that either you understand the culture and the lifestyle of the brand and you adapt to it because of that, or maybe you just like it aesthetically and you go and you research it later. But that's one thing that's your own personal decision. So my big thing is to provide you with the retail experience that makes you feel comfortable.
That is amazing.
Right.
And so how long has it taken you to get to this point? We kind of spotted around, the length of time, but how long has it taken you to get to this point?
In total, I want to say to develop the brand, it's taken us to develop the brand to what it is right now. It's been, we're talking close to 10 years or so. Yeah, it's right around that time. Yeah, the brand wouldn't even be as big as it is in Tacoma if they hadn't known us for all those other brands. If they had not seen all the other work
that you've done.
Yeah, the transition through renaming the brands and that sort of thing, and then just paving the way online as much as you can. I don't believe that it would be as bustling as it is. We would really still be making a name for ourselves.
Right. And so I want to speak to that because you did mention online.
Mm-hmm.
And so do you do a lot of online marketing?
Online marketing is pretty much where we live and die. It's hard to do the physical, flyer marketing and that sort of thing. Yeah. And so we rely a lot on the internet, whether or not it's interview format or some type of writing. Pardon me. We've been featured in a few magazines like Nylon Guys and that sort of thing when we first opened up. So that's really where it lives and dies for us, because that's where the brands that we carry live and die. So we have to be immersed in that online culture in order to be able to keep up with our customer and keep them informed, because that's where they're going to find the information is online.
Right.
There's no other place that they're looking. They're assuming that they can Google anything that they need the answer to.
Exactly.
Right.
And then and in turn be able to find you.
Exactly.
Now, so your store is physically in Tacoma.
It is.
But do you have an online, like, can I
Yes,
purchase?
etctacoma.com has
etctacoma.com.
it has both a web store on there. There's a photo gallery, like I was saying. We're big into the arts, and photography is a big part of that for us. So there's a photo gallery on there, ran by Paris, and then a blog that's ran by myself, and recently that music category that we just
That you
yep,
just dropped.
yeah.
That's great. So it really has branched from being a clothing line that you started in high school,
Right.
to being a retail store where you partner with brands
Right.
and brought really the LA culture to Tacoma.
Right.
And you also incorporated other brands, which are like art
Right.
and music,
Yes.
which art, music, and fashion go together,
100%.
and so you kind of got this medley going,
Right. Well, the basis of it was developing the culture, because there was none. So I don't think that we really knew that we would be developing it from every aspect, meaning that like it wouldn't be us like reaching out to other people. Instead, we're facilitating a lot of the things that happen. But that was part of the struggle. We knew
Right.
more than anything. Before we could even sell anything, we had to get people familiar with what we were selling, which is
Right.
a lifestyle.
Exactly.
And like what that lifestyle entails, which is, music, art, and fashion, and then how they connect and why
how
they connect.
and why.
Right.
Right. And so you're following, and I'm bringing this point because, and I wanted you on the show for several reasons. One, I respect what you've done so far.
Thank you.
And two, I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
And I also wanted for within your demographic and in your age group,
Right.
I want them to see what's possible.
100%.
And that it doesn't happen overnight.
No.
It takes time, dedication, hard work, and keeping that grind going. And sometimes it includes going to school and partnerships, because one of the biggest things you said is the first thing when you sat down, you talked about your business partner,
Right.
And what his strengths are,
Right.
and he's not even in the room, but he is, because you brought him into the room
Has to
because
be.
he is your partner,
100%.
And that's very important. You don't have to be a one-man band.
No, you shouldn't.
You
be.
should not be a one-man band because, that's not the way smart business is conducted.
Right.
You need to create long-time friendships and partnerships that start with respect, mutual respect.
Exactly.
And so I love the fact that you brought Paris right into the room from the beginning and said, this is my business partner, these are his strengths, these are my strengths, and this is why it works together.
100%.
So, we here at Lunch with the Finance Bunch, we try to educate
Yes.
more than anything.
Yeah.
And so I love the target market that your demographic, because you guys are in such a phenomenal space in time right now.
Right.
Because, corporate America is not kind. It's not.
Nope.
And it's not open and friendly to your age group.
It's definitely not.
And that's a good thing.
Right.
Because it's forcing you to create your own.
I agree.
So you're becoming your own corporations
I agree.
that they're going to have to watch out for,
Right.
because they're going to become the fossils, and like you said, our whole world is online. If we can't Google it, it doesn't exist. It does not.
There's no proof.
There's no proof that it's there.
That's what that's considered.
So it's a virtual reality,
yes,
right?
it is. It really,
that's
it really
strong.
Is. No, the presence of it is crazy. Just like, every time that we do something that is considered like groundbreaking or whatever,
Right.
the response that you get on Twitter garners you like, let's say, 25 to 50 real followers who end
Right.
up being 15 to 20 real consumers who really purchase,
Who stick with you.
really, and then
Yeah.
exactly end up following the brand. So
That's right.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah. It's just there's a lot of footwork that you have to put into it. Once you own a business, it doesn't sleep.
No, it does not.
So you have to be going and going,
Right.
going. Yeah, that's
and so I like that you said the business does not sleep.
Yes.
Because just because you don't turn the key in the door till 9 o'clock in the morning or
Right.
10 o'clock in the morning, and you may close at 7 or 8 o'clock at night, the business does not
No,
sleep.
yeah. You're still in
Every
it.
aspect of it has to still be attended to.
Right. Me and Paris have been in one big long meeting for like a year and a half now. It's one gigantic conference call that never ends.
That's right.
Right.
for every aspect of the business.
Yeah, everything from everything. Yeah, it's really from every aspect, visual merchandising to what's going to be on the shelves the next morning, to who gets there first, to are we putting out the bench today, just everything. It's
So when I asked, what type of streetwear would you say do you cover? Like, is it everything or some things, or what's your focus?
It's not. So there's now that streetwear has grown itself over the last 5 years. There's kind of two sectors to it. There's like grassroots streetwear, which I believe is like just probably what people were doing 5 to 6 years ago, and then there's like more like commercialized streetwear, which is just a bigger business version of it. But the thing about streetwear is, and that I think anyone that would move into that business, and this is something that we have to understand as well, is that your numbers aren't based off of anything but quantity. So you're limiting the quantity, so you need more limited quantity product. That's the thing that you're looking for. And that's why streetwear is such a progressive part of the industry, because you have to break something new every other day, every day. That's why Hypebeast is such a beast, that and Snobiety and all that blog sphere, that you're like, how do they post 50 new things a day? How are there 50 press releases a day? Because there are 50 press releases a day. Right. Because there are 120 products a day that are created, and they're just falling into the factory line as it all comes along, Right. And so what we do is grassroots streetwear. That's where the stores that were around, that aren't around anymore, that were around when we were first starting out, getting interested into it, they were grassroots streetwear, and so we demanded ourselves nothing less.
That's amazing.
Right.
We are talking to Umi Wagoner, and his retail store is ETC Tacoma, and you can check him out online. Google him.
Yes, ETC
He's there.
Tacoma. Come see us.
ETC Tacoma, and you can see the best in streetwear. Really,
Yes, you can.
Yeah, and so you're out here now. And the reason I was able to grab you into the studio is because you were here for a trade show.
Yes, Agenda Trade Show, which was a streetwear specific trade show for I think it lasted maybe like a year and a half, year or two, before all the big box companies decided that they needed to get in there. Because what it is when you throw the black curtain over anything,
yes, everyone wants in. What's back there?
Yeah,
let me see what you're doing over there.
Exactly.
Right.
And so the industry is supposed to be one big black curtain, but over time, in order to be able to do cooler and newer and better things, you have to grow, because it takes a little bit more money.
That's right.
Or it takes a lot more time. And I think that a lot of business owners, time is the last thing that they're ready to give.
Right. And so when you're out here at a trade show, what exactly does that mean? What do you do at a trade show?
So this was my first time. I've helped set up trade shows. I've been involved in a lot of trade shows, but I've never worked or attended one before, like fully, not even like a magic
as
or
a
anything.
retail owner,
as anything, actually, even when I was like a student and that sort of thing, like a lot of our friends went in that, but I was always working on the retail side of things. So retail and wholesale are like night and day when you're in that.
Right.
And I had to man ship. When you're the top dude in the retail, that's what you do, is you don't go anywhere. So it was fun. It was a lot of walking around. I wrote some orders. I talked to a lot of people. You meet a lot of people. I picked up 2 new brands. I met someone that's an old brand that's like that's making a resurgence. Yeah, he's he's kind of like the reason why I'm into graphic design. So it was really nice to like shake his hand. He was a down to earth guy. He's gonna let us carry the product. So at no minimums, you just kind of that's relationship building when you're there, right? So there's money transactions happening, but a lot of that happens after the show. What you're doing is you're sitting down and deciding whether or not you even want to do business with a guy.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so I didn't think that I learned that. I thought that I'd be writing a lot more orders and people would be yelling and throwing numbers at me and telling me what things wholesale and retail for, and there wasn't really a lot of that. There was a lot of...
It's more getting to know each other and seeing if you even want to do business with each other.
Yeah.
Because every business transaction or every introduction is not a match.
No. And you can kind of tell, you go to a booth, you shake a guy's hand one time, and for me, it's really about product knowledge. So like when I went and saw J Money collection, to be honest, I stood outside the booth like a fan, and I just kind of like looked in there, and I was with a friend of mine, and he was asking. He was from Washington up here, and he was like, and I was like, yo, this brand right here, like this is like as OG as it gets. And so he's like, he's a kind of like a more brash dude. So he wanders into the booth and starts looking around, and I'm just kind of standing there, just watching his interaction with the owner, and then he's like, oh, this is my friend, and so we just kind of started talking from there, and I feel like that's how things have to happen organically. Right.
That's the lasting relationships, the ones that happen organically usually.
Right.
You know, they kind of just morph into being whatever they're supposed to be.
100%.
Yeah.